Have you ever had a piece of banana bread that was just kind of this dry, sweet, nothing really there? It kind of tastes like bananas, but really what's the point? I'm gonna show you how to fix that in this week's episode. We're gonna use that sour cream to just turn it up a little bit, make a nice, moist, delicious banana bread. I'm gonna start with 3/4 cups of brown sugar. And if you don't have brown sugar, that's okay, because you can make it. I don't keep brown sugar on hand because it goes bad really fast, but you know what doesn't? Sugar and molasses, and you just combine the two. For this much sugar, I'm just gonna do a little drizzle of molasses and work it in with my hands. And you're gonna get a little bit sticky, but that's okay. You're gonna turn this all into this lovely brown sugar. After that, I'm going in with a stick of butter. Now this stick of butter, I probably already used about a tablespoon to make some eggs this morning, so 7 tablespoons is just fine. And I'm gonna cream them together until they form one kind of a uniform product. I'm gonna get started with my bananas. Now you want these to be a little bit overripe. I see a lot of people using like brown bananas, and to me those are just a little bit too overripe. Don't waste them, make your bread, but I like to catch them right in this sweet spot when they're starting to look like a giraffe, starting to get a little bit brown, but they're still mostly yellow. When I have 4 bananas peeled, if you have larger bananas, maybe use 3. If they're little itty bitty guys, 5 or 6. But when you have about this much banana, go in with about 1/2 cup of sour cream. In this case, we're using the sour cream that we made together on patreon.com/self-serving skillet. And then about a little spoon of vanilla. Incorporate all of that, smash those bananas, stir around everything to get it into one uniform thing. I like to keep my bananas just a little bit chunky because I think that it adds to the moisture. It adds little pockets where deliciousness can hide out in my bread. And once that's all together, once that looks like it all belongs together, 2 eggs, but we're gonna stir them in one at a time until they disappear, until you can't really tell that you just mixed an egg in anymore. So take your time, make sure it's not swirling anymore, make sure it's all one thing, then go back in with your other egg. Once that looks like it all belongs together, go in with about a cup of flour, a cup of all-purpose flour. That's about 120 grams of all-purpose flour. We're gonna follow that with 1/2 a little spoon of salt, 1/2 a little spoon of baking soda, and a full little spoon of baking powder. So why do I use both baking soda and baking powder, and eggs for that matter? Eggs are a leavener, but baking soda reacts to the acid in the brown sugar and in the sour cream, and baking powder reacts to the heat. So we have multiple different agents in play to make our banana bread rise. There's no yeast in it. There's no animal inside of it going mee. Once you're satisfied with how your batter looks, once you can't see any more dry streaks of flour, you need to prep a bread pan. You need to take about 1/2 a tablespoon of butter and smear it around the inside of a bread pan. And then we're gonna flour it. We're just gonna lightly flour it. Notice how I'm letting this flour roll over the surface. There's no kneading in banana bread. So if you waste a little bit of flour, that's okay, because we don't need any flour for kneading. We're gonna scrape all of that out of our bowl with a rubber spatula and get that into our prepped bread pan. Our oven at this point should be preheated to 375 degrees. That's just shy of 200 Celsius. And what we're gonna do is stick this in the oven perpendicular to us. So part of it is at the front and part of it is at the back, and we're going to rotate it halfway through. We like even cooking around here. And then when it comes out, you know that it's done when you insert a toothpick into it and nothing sloppy comes out. You know that it's done when the top starts to crack and the sides start to pull away from the edge. And I'm just gonna wait for it to cool enough to be able to handle it and then I want to get it out of that pan and let it cool by itself. And then we slice into it, and oh my goodness, look at this banana bread. It is just, you can just tell how incredibly moist and delicious this is gonna be. This is gonna be full of flavor, and you can almost just taste it just by looking at it. It is so wonderful. So how do you make this work in your normal life, in your regular life, in your regular cooking practice? Well, you take what you know and you just replace part of the liquid with sour cream. Yogurt also works very well, and that works so amazingly well to hold in the moisture. Just like that fish that we made a couple of weeks ago. I put sour cream on the outside, the heat baked the fish, but the moisture that left was all in the sour cream, so it left this wonderful layer of tasty deliciousness, and then our fish was just so incredibly juicy. Same thing happens with this banana bread, or you could use it in muffins, or the baked good possibilities are really endless. Substitute part of your liquid, use something that's a little more jiggly, and it's gonna be awesome. Let's taste this. So we made our banana bread. We made our wonderfully moist banana bread. That sour cream is just gonna really hold in all of that moisture here. Let's see how we did. Let's just see if you can see how just incredibly moist and delicious that looks. That is everything that you want from a piece of banana bread. All this month, we've been making recipes with sour cream, as an ingredient. If you want to check some of those out, I'm gonna leave one right here, a couple more in the description below. I like my banana bread with a little bit of butter. If you want to check out my latest butter video, I'll leave that right up here. Now get in the kitchen and make yourself something amazing. Let your hunger be your inspiration.